guys, I am here to talk about Winston. If you don't follow me on Facebook, then you're probably not as up to date about the current situations and goings on in our household. But if you have been following us on Facebook, then right now is where I'm just gonna tell you what our final decision on Winston was, which is we decided to take Winston back to the rescue. Not an easy decision whatsoever for me or John to come to, or even the kids, because everything that happens in our household when it comes to things like that, it's a conversation that I have with all of my kids. I know Kaya's a little bit young, so she doesn't really understand as much, but she is very advanced when it comes to her emotions and problem solving and just all of those things. She's really good at comprehending. Wyatt is in 2nd grade. He'll be in 3rd grade next year, so he's really with it. And then Ava is, as you guys know, 13, and she is one of the sweetest, kindest, most empathetic teenagers I've ever met. We all got together and sat down and talked about it. If you follow me on Facebook, like I said, you saw my live stream. You saw the letter, the open pen letter that I wrote to this Rebecca chick who contacted me when I came to you guys last week about talking about how our trainer and our vet both suggested that Winston would be happier and thrive more in a different household. And by thrive, if you don't follow my channel, we got Winston 2 months ago. We adopted him from a rescue. The rescue had actually only had him in their possession for 12 hours at the most before he came into our home. It wasn't enough time to evaluate him. They thought he had just some anti-anxiety issues. They didn't know how deep-seated his issues truly were. When we met him, it was this shock to my system of, I want to help this animal. I want to help him be a whole. And I don't know if that comes from just my issues with, you know, being adopted myself or what. I always want to try to fix things in people, and I think that is what happened in this instance. And my husband, you guys know, John loves me so much, he would do anything for me. And I don't say that as like, oh, I'm the queen of the world or I'm a brat or spoiled. I am a little bit spoiled because I do have such an awesome husband, but it's more of a, that's how much he loves me, just like I love him enough to realize when he's hurting and stressed and needs change as well, which is what happened here. So for 2 months, we really tried with Winston. We tried everything. You guys know he came to our house super frantic. It took him a while to even come out of a corner, and then after he came out of a corner, he ran to a different corner. He spent the last 2 months at our house in my bedroom or the kids' bedroom in a corner hiding. Unless he was in his kennel, which I had to force him in his kennel to feed him. Or unless he was running outside with Nuna, which was very rare because we couldn't get him back inside after we would let him out. So our trainer said he wasn't allowed to like do that a whole ton unless he was better with his recall, which means coming in when you call him, and he would never responded to his name, so that was hard. Or unless we're walking, he was always upstairs in the corner of our room or the kids' room. Now, sometimes he would come downstairs. You guys saw, he would come downstairs and he would sit in this corner when I would be on the couch or editing, and I would take a picture of him and share it on Snapchat. He would cuddle with Nuna every once in a while, and I would take a picture in Snapchat. And YouTube, you guys have seen him. The only times you've seen him is either when I've physically walked up there to show you to him, or he's been forced to sit on John's lap, because we tried doing that a lot because they were like, oh, you need a bond in regards to John. So John would like pick him up and put him in his lap and pet him, but the entire time, no joke, Winston's body would just be completely rigid. Like, I don't want you to be touching me, but I will allow it because I'm afraid of you. Yeah, he spent his entire life in our bedroom, just hiding. When we were gone in Vegas, my mom said that the same thing happened. He would never come out. And again, we'd have to force him outside to go to the bathroom on the leash, and we'd have to yank him down the stairs. And then after he would go potty, he would not want to come back in. When I would take him on walks, he loved his walks, and I loved walking him and Nuna. But the second we would hit our street corner, he would plant his butt down, and I would have to drag him or pick him up and physically walk him to the door, which was like a quarter of a mile from where he would stop wanting to come. And it didn't matter which direction I came into the street, he knew immediately. He'd go from happy prancing, tail wagging, to the second we came near our house, it was like tail between the legs, butt down on the ground. I don't want to go there. We tried a lot. I mean, I carpeted my entire hardwood floors with ugly rugs because I wanted him to not hurt himself when he would sprint up the stairs. I tried like 8 different types of bedding with him because he was chewing up his bedding while we were gone, if he was in his crate or at night, or when we put towels or blankets in there instead of like beds, because he was tearing those up, and the vet was like, well, try blankets or towels. He then started pooping and hiding the poop underneath the towels at night, and the vet said that those are all separation anxiety traits, and the fact that they were getting worse, like he was picking up new symptoms, was a little bit concerning to them. It was just hard. You know, I tried a lot with him. I wanted it to work. With me, Winston was fine. You know, a lot of times when you guys saw me brag about him or get excited about him online, a lot of it was, I think, me being a little bit naive, thinking like he was like so much better because he was playing with Nuna downstairs, when really I didn't kind of remember that, okay, the kids were asleep and John was out of town. Most of the times, no, all of the times when I would post anything like that, it was John was out of town. He was happy when it was just me. He would be more himself, I feel like, than, you know, anything else when it was just me. When the kids would be awake though, or making any noise, straight to the room. When John was home, straight to the room. When John would enter a room, Winston was gone. And again, I think that I think I got a little bit too carried away in thinking that he was getting better, when in reality, he was only getting better with me, not the entire family. After 2 opinions told us, okay, Winston's not gonna do super well in your home. You know, he needs to be in a quieter home without children, with a female, not a male presence. I went to Facebook and I said, listen, has anybody had this issue with a rescue? Because this is the first time we've ever rescued and adopted a dog. As you guys know, Penny didn't work out, which that hurt a lot. You guys know, you saw me go through all of that shit, and I'm really ambivalent to even share this stuff with you guys, but you know I don't owe anybody an explanation, but I feel like I need to sit here and talk about this because I think this happens a lot, and I want to be, you know, even if I come off as a shitty person, I want to make sure everybody else out there knows that, you know, they're not the only shitty person out there. If that's what I am, then they're not alone. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this. But as you guys know, Penny didn't work out because it turned out Kaya was allergic to Penny's dander. She was a golden doodle, more golden than doodle, which she's doing super well. Oh my gosh, guys, she's so happy, and I'm so happy for her and the family that she's at. And then also I was having an issue with the amount of hair and all of that. You know, so that didn't work out, and so that's, I think, why I wanted Winston to work out so much. So I went to Facebook last week and I asked, like, has anybody had this issue with a rescue? What do I do here? And everybody had their different opinions. As normal, everybody had their different opinions. Some people were like, oh, stick it out for a year, 2 years, 3 years. Some people were like, oh, my dog was exactly the same, but after 4 years, you know, he finally stopped peeing on the floor when my husband would come home, you know, or, you know, we still have to drug him when we take him on trips, but he's like, we love him, you know, that kind of thing. And then a lot of you guys said to just drug him in general. And then a lot of you guys said, like, you need to do the best thing for Winston, which is like put him in a home where he can be happy. So for me, you know, I loved hearing everybody's opinions. It was great. Even if they, like I said in that live stream, even that really crappy person who emailed me and took it upon herself to try to come at me and my family and tell me I was a bad mother and role model for my kids. Even that person, I said, I appreciate even those people who are nasty, and all the people who are going to be nasty to me in this video. I appreciate you, because that means there are people out there that care so deeply for dogs that even the most damaged dogs out there and the most hurt dogs have people like you advocating for them. And I appreciate you. You know, I love that. I love that. But taking in everybody's advice, I spoke to my vet. She said, you know, if you really don't want to rehome him, there is one more thing we can try. We can try to put him on basically puppy Prozac. She put him on this medication, which is supposed to be fast acting. I would see a change in him in an hour, and then we'd go from there. We put him on that, and he did calm down, but every single time he saw John, he would freak out still. John even laid next to him and fell asleep next to him, trying to like connect with him. And even the entire time, Winston never put his head down to rest. It was just this like staring at me with these huge eyes, just staring at me. And I know a lot of people aren't going to believe me when I say that I can tell when my dogs are happy or not, but I could tell that Winston, from the day he came home with us with John and the kids, he's never been happy. He's always looked sad. No matter how many pictures I've taken of him, he always looks sad, unless he's on a walk or outside just playing with Nuna. We decided at that point we were going to give it a week. We were like, okay, we'll try the drugs with him for a week. Well, the next 2 days were really hard. The night was really rough. Even though he had this medication in his system that was supposed to calm him down, he was up all night scratching at the kennel, biting at stuff. He chews apart his metal tags, so I have to actually take those off at night too. Just not happy, not resting. Then the next day, he was on his prescription again. I was just like holding him. I was gonna put his leash on him. Same thing we always do. And John just walked into the room, and Winston freaked out at the sight of him to the point of just, I was trying not to let him go because I didn't want him to get hurt as he was running up the stairs. So he started clawing at my ankles and just started scratching the crap out of my ankles. And it was painful, like my ankle swelled up. I'm not saying he was aggressive, but that was just his fear was that overwhelming that he just that's what happened. After that, I could see the look on John's face. He was just defeated. You know, John is the sweetest guy, you guys know. And again, he would do anything for me. And anything would be him living with an animal that did not like him, even though he really didn't want to. So at that moment, I looked at him and I said, John, what do you want to do? I want you to be honest with me. What do you want to do right now? Because I'm not the one that Winston's afraid of. You know, I'm not the one who, when I come home, he runs from me. When I try to pet him, he gets really upset. I'm not the one that's happening to. It's John and the kids. Basically, John, after prodding him and getting him to finally tell me the truth, he said, well, I don't want to sound like an a-hole. And I said, well, I need you to tell me the truth. Whether that's you being an a-hole or not, I need you to tell me the truth. What do you want to do? Because dogs are commitment. They live, a long time. I don't want you to resent me or this dog or take out your frustration somewhere else. I want you to be happy in your home because you deserve to be happy in your home. I want the kids to be happy. I want Nuna to be happy. Nuna's whole affect had changed in the last 2 weeks. Winston lunged at me while we were outside. Nuna did not like that. Nuna got real aggressive with him and upset, and ever since has been kind of on edge with Winston. I also think his anxieties have been overwhelming her as well. Again, I know a lot of people are gonna think I'm crazy, but I know my dog and I know that she's been different. So I want everybody to be happy. It's not just this dog that should be happy, it's everybody. And he finally just said, Kelly, if I could have it my way, I wouldn't want him here anymore. He said, I've tried. I don't know what else to do, and I don't want to live my life, the rest of my life like this. And I agree, I didn't either. When I thought it was okay, just antisocial things, we just needed to socialize him, we needed to take time with him, it was one thing. But now knowing that he's got this deep-seated thing against men and loud noises, it's really hard for us because my husband is a man and I have kids who are loud. They're gonna have friends who are gonna come over that are loud. I'm gonna have friends with other dogs who are gonna come over who are loud. I'm gonna, all those things. And I can't risk having this dog who will get so fearful in a moment that he will hurt somebody. He took Kaya down the stairs with him. Kaya was just walking down the stairs. John had walked up to our bedroom to do something. Winston got freaked out because John was going into our bedroom, not doing anything to Winston, but just walked in. Winston freaked out, ran down the stairs as Kaya was coming down, knocked her down the stairs. Luckily she was okay, but in that moment it was oh my gosh, we gotta figure something out. If it were just me, it was just me and Nuna, I would have kept Winston and tried my damnedest, whether it made me broke, to figure something out. I would probably have not had boyfriends or a husband or anything even to that extent. But the reality is I do have a husband. I do have kids, I do have another dog, and it's not fair on them to continue trying to make something work. And in the end, it's also not fair to Winston because he will be happier in a home with only females or one woman or a lesbian couple or a family that doesn't have adult kids. He will be happier, and I know that. I've been told that by people who have met him. I know that. I contacted the rescue. Lisa was super nice. She was thank you for trying. I appreciate it. I got Winston neutered. I got him microchipped. You guys, if you follow me, I love my dogs with an intensity that is a little bit unhealthy probably. I was torn up for a long time. If you see my eyebrow right here, I'm missing hair because when I get stressed out or overwhelmed with something like this, I tend to get eczema in my eyebrow and then I start to pick at it, and that's what I've been doing all week when we've been coming to this decision. I'm actually pulling out hair at this point. It's very, very frustrating. So I'm not, this decision did not come lightly. I don't know how much I can get that across to you guys. But Lisa was just very thankful that we tried. She apologized. John ended up taking Winston back because we didn't want to take the kids. We didn't feel like that would be good for them or healthy for them necessarily. They also didn't care. The two younger ones were just we didn't really bond with him anyways because he never wanted to come near us. Ava would probably have been the one that was most upset if she was upset, and when I talked to her, she was I don't think he's happy here, Mom. and I don't like seeing him unhappy. And that's kind of how we all were feeling. It was like, either do we. So she was at her dad's house. John took Winston back, and I stayed home with the kids because I was just a mess. I was crying a bunch, and I was just feeling really defeated and just like a failure. Like, I don't know how to ever make right decisions. And I didn't think emotionally I could handle it. And I know that's such a cop-out, but that's just where I was at. So John took Winston back, and Lisa immediately, apparently John said that the second they got into Lisa's house, like, Winston ran away from John and cowered behind Lisa. This woman who he only knew for 12 hours prior to the 2 months with us, that's how much he was fearful of John. And Lisa at that moment realized, okay, his issues are worse than I thought. His issues are more deep-seated towards men. And she was very apologetic to us. She sent me an email after John came home and was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize the depth of his issues. I appreciate you so much for, like, you know, getting to the bottom of these things and helping him so much. We will find him a home with, you know, again, a single woman or a lesbian family. She was very appreciative. And that meant a lot to me. She's gonna update me and keep me updated. She said he's adjusting really well at her house with all the other dogs. And I kind of wish she would just keep him, because I think that should be a good match for him. But, you know, I realize rescuers can't keep every single dog, else they would have a million dogs. But she also said that the crate that I sent, all of his clothes, all of his food, all of his bedding, like everything like that, his collar, his leash, all of that would go with him to whatever home he goes to. So that made me really happy. I didn't want him to be without anything, you know, and I'm not gonna cry. I promised myself I would not cry in this video. I don't want this video to deter anybody from adoption, because I think adoption is amazing. I wouldn't be here without adoption. I know comparing a kid adoption to dog adoption is way on different ends of the spectrum, but I will, you know, I would never don't want this video to deter people from adopting. What I will say though, from my experience, is that you make sure that the dog that you're adopting has been evaluated to the fullest. Lisa's main goal was to evaluate Winston, make sure he wasn't aggressive. That's great. But she did not bring him around men in different social situations to figure out what his needs were gonna be. And that's what we ended up doing. My vet said I would make a great foster parent for dogs. And, you know, I should look into doing that, because I've now evaluated 2 different dogs and found great homes for one of them, and, you know, figured out what was wrong with Winston with the trainer and a vet and all the other things to be able to figure out what home he needs to be placed in. I know I'll sound like the worst person, but I can't be a foster parent for kids or dogs, because for me, it hurts too much to give up and to lose people and things in my life. It just, it's so damaging. I don't think you guys even know that, like, the tip of the iceberg of how damaging it is. I mean, I'm pulling out my own hair out of my eyebrows because I've been so distraught about this decision and letting Winston go. So I can't do that. But I don't want people to be deterred from adoption, because I think if you find the right dog and you are making sure that he's evaluated or she's evaluated correctly, I think that adoption is great. You know, I've heard from so many people like, oh, I don't know how you can, you know, get rid of Winston. I've had a dog who's been rehomed 5 times and he's the best for my family. And I want to say to those people, he's probably the best fit for your family, because he realized that these other 5 families were not the right fit. No house is the same. No people are the same. No, you know, even dogs can sense whether or not they're going to be comfortable around somebody. Like, it's a weird, like, they have that sense. So to those people who are like, oh, my dog's been rehomed 5 times and he's like the greatest dog ever in our home, that's so great that you found the right fit for you, and he, you know, and the dog's the right fit in both ways. But again, like, sometimes that's what it takes. When it comes to dogs, especially dogs that are damaged, this is what Lisa said, it's not so cut and dry of, okay, this dog will fit with this family because they have a Labradoodle, which is what she was hoping for our home, because he had those issues with men. And for those people who are like, oh, well, my dog's got issues with men, but, you know, my husband just deals with it, I don't want to do that to my husband. He's flat out told me how he really feels, and when my husband or my partner tells me how they really feel, then I'm going to respect those feelings. and make sacrifices for him, because all he's done his whole life with me has been making sacrifices for me. I don't want to deter anybody with this video about adoption. I just wanted to make this video, to kind of explain what's happened to Winston, so that way whenever anybody's like, what happened to Winston? Somebody else in the comments can say, go look at the video. I also wanted to make this video to talk about all the steps that we did take with Winston. It wasn't just oh, he's just not adjusting, we're gonna get rid of him, put him on the side of the street. No, it was we went through every single possible way of trying to help him, including medication, and things still weren't working, and we took the advice of others that are professionals to rehome him in a safe and responsible way. I love dogs. I know that they're a commitment. I was cleaning up dog poop left and right with Winston in his kennel like every night at 4 a.m. It never upset me. I never got upset. There's never a moment where I was like, oh my God, this dog, which I get that way with Nuna. Like, I'll get mad at her when she does something stupid, but I never felt that way with Winston. Instead, for me, the breaking point was just seeing how unhappy he was. And for me, it was tearing me apart, and John and the kids, that he just was not happy in our home. I know that dogs are commitment. I know how much work needs to be put into them. I do put in the work, and I put in the money and the time and the energy. But when it came down to Winston, that stuff wasn't what he needed. He needed a home fit for him. I will keep you guys updated when I get updated about how he's doing. I know that this video, like all my other videos when I'm just kind of sitting here, is not very concise. And again, I know I don't need to share these things with you, but again, I just want to be open with you. You know, when I started this channel, I said that I would kind of talk about my family life, and this is part of my family life. For everybody who's been super supportive on Facebook, I really appreciate it. There have been so many dog rescuers who have left such great comments that really made me feel better about our decision. There's a lot of people who have emailed me personally who have just been a great resource and also help for me, you know, who have gone through the adoption process numerous times to find the right dog. And I just, to those people, want to say thank you so very, very much. And again, to the nasty people that are going to attack me here and there, and not even just me, but my family, because it was a family decision. It wasn't mine. If it were up to me, we would still have him. But to those of you who are going to attack me and be nasty, I just want to say I appreciate you guys too, because that means that you love animals, even the damaged ones, even the unwanted ones, even the ones that, you know, can't find homes. That means that you love them so very much and are very intense about them, and I appreciate you, because without you, there would be a lot of lost dogs there in the world, just, you know, not finding a family. So I appreciate you too. But yeah, that is what is going on with Winston. Whether we will get another dog or not, it's very unlikely. I've done this now twice this year, and I'm just spent. I don't feel well. I am tired. I am emotionally drained, and I'm not gonna do that to my kids again. You know, I'm gonna be happy with what I have, which is a really great dog who, you know, loves everyone in our family, who we can take on vacation and do fun things with. I'm just gonna be happy with her and build my life around just one dog and 3 kids. Fostering, while it sounds like a lot of, I mean, I can see why fostering would be fulfilling, because it has been fulfilling trying to help these 2 dogs that we've had in our lives. I can be completely honest and say that I'm just not built to be a foster parent in any capacity. I'm just not. So anyways, there you have it. There is the story behind Winston, and I will miss him so very, very much. I don't even think you understand. Like, I came home and was just like, went up to the bedroom. I don't know why, just expecting to see Winston in the corner in his bed, but he wasn't there, and it was kind of a shock to my system. Although John said that it's nice to walk into a room and not have a dog freak out when he comes in. So for him, it's a little bit opposite. But anyways, there you have it. Thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging around my channel if you decide to after this. I know a lot of people get upset when it comes to dogs and all of that, but I hope you can kind of try to understand our situation and be happy for Winston that he's in a better place where he's calmer. I mean, Lisa already said, like, he's so calm now. And that's all I wanted to hear, was that he's calm. Even if he's waiting for his forever home, as long as he's happy, because he was not happy here, that makes me like have a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. Yeah, so that's that. That's that. Sometimes you have to make the hard decisions for the people you love or the things that you love. And in this case, that was definitely what we did. And I stand by it. I think it was the right decision, whether or not people want to agree with me or not. It was the right decision for Winston foremost, and then also my family. So yeah. I will talk to you guys all later. I don't really know how to end a video like this, so I'm just gonna say